Welcome back to the Wealth Mindset. And today I have Damien. He is in the military. He's been in the military for 18 years. He is an islander from the American Samoa. He played rugby for the Army and has helped out a lot of his community. He's interested in helping the military folks go into civilian life and also his Pacific Islander folks. And he has helped set up tax-free retirement for many of his family, friends, and clients. And today, I just want to welcome Damien. Damien, how do you pronounce your last name? I didn't want to blotch it, so that's why I didn't see.
It's Damien Waitolu. No, I appreciate the invite, brother.
I would have messed that up. All right, Damien, do you mind sharing a little bit about yourself to our audience?
Yeah, of course. I'm Damien Waitolu. I'm 36 years old. I'm from American Samoa, born and raised. I joined the military in 2006, and I'm 18 years in now. 18 years went by fast. I got 2 more years till I retire. I enjoy every bit of my life in the military. And then I came into the business 3 years ago in the financial business, and now I'm doing really well here, and I love what we do for families and friends and just everyone out there, right? It literally just I think what we lack on in the world is financial literacy, and I just want to give back to our community.
Yeah, Damien. I mean, you have a great heart, and I mean, I've definitely seen you around. We've attended different events together. But Damien, tell me, what are some of the biggest challenge for a military person, especially when you're facing move from in the military life to the civilian life? What are some of the major challenges with that?
Um, I think some of the challenges is not a lot of civilians like the military. Will get backlashes, oh, you kill people, but ultimately you just got to block off the noise, the military is not meant for everyone. I joined the military because I want to give back to not just for my family, but I want to serve, but I think some of the challenges that I see right now is that I think our military service lacks financial literacy, which is why our soldiers are living paycheck to paycheck, right? And I truly believe that now that having my license in the financial industry, I can go out there and help educate not just our military service member, but also our civilians and my Polynesian community.
All right, thanks, Damien. I just want to really thank you for your military service. I really do appreciate it.
No, I appreciate
My
the
wife,
support.
dad was in the military. He was in Vietnam, and his plane was shot down.
Yeah.
But as you were talking about that, how difficult it is, one of the thoughts that came to my head a couple of years ago, while I was still in, when I finished nursing school, I completed my bachelor's afterwards, and part of it I had to serve as a public health course with public health nursing, and I served in I was in Washington State, in the capital was I had to serve in a mobile unit that catered for veterans. So what was happening was that hospital, when they were running their stats, the emergency department was getting really bombarded by homeless people at different times, especially when it got colder. So a lot of these stats was that they would more or less, if they address the cuts and bruises and needle marks and stuff on the outside, then it reduced the intake to the ED. So I went there to the homeless camps and stuff, and then did visits different places and shelters and stuff. I was really surprised that there were so many veterans, because we had veteran services. I was like, wow, there are a lot of veterans, people that serve the country, and they're like homeless or in shelters, and I was like really shocked. And I was just talking to a number of them, and they realized like they were really frustrated with the veteran service. Not that I'm griping about the veteran service now. I'm just sharing kind of what they had.
Yeah,
I
it's sad to see.
yeah,
It's
I mean, I know this is not what we plan to cover, but do you want to share anything about that? Like that, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think a lot of the people that got out of the military were given the resource to take care of themselves. But I also believe that our government don't take care of our service member, and that's what I truly believe in. But ultimately, we can't walk you to get help. You gotta get help yourself, right? But there was a lot of resources when it comes to before you get out as a service member. Some people just don't go seek those help, and some people just get out because they been wanting to get out of the military so they can go pursue other things, and then find out that it's not greener on the other side. So
Yeah.
they look at the drugs and stuff like that, and now they're homeless. But ultimately, I think we're just the numbers to our government, because you know if they would truly have our backs, we wouldn't have any homeless veterans. So
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, and I know it's very challenging. I know we need to really encourage people and help them to adjust better. I just pull up there's these stats on it. It says on an average night, this was for 2003 stats, 20,000 veterans are living in shelters. It's staggering 15,507 veterans are living without a shelter at all. So that's
well,
why, it's surprising. And places like Washington State and places that probably have milder winters, they tend to see a lot more homeless people, probably California and other areas too. But we want to go back to this. So let me just ask you now, transitioning into civilian life.
sure.
So I see your numbers, and that's why I want to interview you. You're really killing it. You're doing extremely well. So this is an option for people that are in the military to transition into some form of financial services. What appeal would you have to them? What would you tell them that they may have some hangups about it? What would you share about that?
Ultimately, a lot of our service members join when they're young, right? So they ultimately don't know you know, what life brings them. I know when I first joined, it's either, play football or join the service member or play baseball, right? So my sports when I was younger was baseball. But they don't have scouts coming down to Samoa to look at baseball. But so the military was my next route, and it's probably one of the best decisions that I made. But if I would have known about the financial industry and how much they make, and how much and how it's life changing it is, I would have done the financial industry, right? Because it's simple. We got what people need, and they say, you know, if you want to learn about money, get into the financial industry. The best place you can learn about money, right? So ever since I came into the business 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, I've saved a lot, and it's just the way you can compound your money is not taught, right? It's not taught. And then, just being in the service, I've never sat down with financial advisors of my 18 years,
Wow.
right? Because that's not their priority. Their priority is to get us to become green status on our medical, so that we're deployable in case a war comes along, we're ready, right? So, but that's what I would say to my service members that that think that, hey, let me just do my 20 years and collect a disability in your retirement. No, there's better opportunities out there before that. So.
Thank you. Um, I just had another question because I just remember this was some meeting that we had, and I heard that one of the things that brought you into financial services was that you had lost in your TSP. So I think you were deployed someplace, and then you were an advisor thing. When you came back, you lost. I heard 90%. I don't know if that's true, 80%. I can't remember the exact figure, but do you mind sharing about that before I
Yeah,
ask you a
so
question?
it's crazy because in 2018 I sat down with a person from the business. She educated me about my own retirement plan, right? She backtracked it back in 2006 when I first joined the military. And check this out. I did not check my TSP until 2018 when I sat down with the finance professional. Well, it's crazy because in 2006 I joined the army. I deployed in 2007, and then that market crash in 2008, I had no idea. Okay. I knew about the market crash, but I didn't know I lost money in my TSP, because in 2006, I was 17 years old, right? I was 17 years old. I didn't know what I was signing up for, right? My financial advisor at the time said, "Hey, we're going to open up a TSP for you, a retirement plan. How much did you want to contribute to it?" I said, 300, $400 a month. She said, "Great. Forget it ever existed. Do not touch it until you're 59 and a half." When she said, "Do not touch it
Hmm.
until you're 59 and a half," I did not check it ever since, until Rachel sat me down and educated. That's in 2018 is where I found out. We backtracked. I found out I lost about almost $91,000 from the market
Okay.
between that year, from 2006 to 2018.
Wow. I know I heard that
Im-
nine somewhere. Wow.
Imagine if I didn't check it, Carrie.
Yeah,
Imagine if
I
I
know
didn't
that
check it
that's
until,
horrible.
you
My
know?
wife lost too in her 401k, and that's why one of the things that she ended up doing an annuity, and we made some changes. But and there are a lot of people that have lost it, significantly during the that 2008 period. And I
Yep.
think if people were better educated, then they could avoid it. Um, Let me
Yeah.
just ask another question. How can
Yes.
your military experience be leveraged in the civilian job market? Like, say, what skills are transferable? Like what you have now, and how is it transferable?
I think it's hard, right? So I, it's because there's different jobs in the military. Depending on what you're doing, depends on what you qualify to do when you get out of the military, right? So if you like, I'll give an example. If you're an infantry guy or have a combat job, you're most likely only going to qualify for security or some type of police uh job, right? So, but like for me, I have a recruiting background, but also have logistics. In the world, you need logistics, so I can go and apply anywhere and get hired. And here's what's great thing about having a military background. Um, we'll be the first one to get hired if we were to sit down with those companies, right? So it's really cool. But it's hard. I thought I didn't, when I came into the financial industry, I didn't think I was going to be good at it until I start learning it, and now I'm great at it. So you don't have to bring skills here from the military. You can actually learn a new skill and then 10x it, right? So master your craft and you'd be successful.
Yeah, I definitely admire you. I mean, you've definitely mastered a lot of things that I want to learn, and that's kind of why I started this podcast to really learn from people that are doing really well in the business, and who have started and are doing it part time. And I know you're heading to transitioning, but I don't know your exact figures what it does, but I know your figures are really really good. How far away are you from crossing your monthly salary in the military or whatever? How far are you
I'm not
crossing?
far at all, to be honest. I think it's it's all about building a team because you can't build a business by
Right.
yourself, right? It'll be hard for you to build your business by yourself. I look at Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, right? They didn't build their business by themselves. They hired smart people and they helped him build his business and just hired more people to help build his business, right? So I think it's scaling your business by getting other like-minded people to join you in forces so that you could match your income. But I feel like this aligned with what I'm doing now, because I retire in 2 years. I'm building my business now so that 2 years from now, when I do retire, I have passive residual income coming in, right? So, but yes, I'll be looking at six figures this year. If anything, before summer of next year. So the goal next year will be 500K by next year. So
Wow. Yeah, I really believe you're gonna make that. And I just want to congratulate you, before you make it. But I'm rooting for you, my friend. I have another question here. Now, we're talking about veterans and military folks. What are some specific programs that someone, it's probably like, I know somebody watching might be close to retiring. What are some programs like in the military that help them to transition into the civilian life? And are there any kind of programs that help with being an entrepreneur, which I don't know?
there is a thing called Skill Bridge. They help you prepare before you get out the military. They help set up what jobs are looking for your skills and they're hiring right away, right? So they pretty much set us up before we get out, right? But it's us taking the action to make sure that those are gets done, right? So some people go through all those resources and those classes, but they don't go to it, because they're so used to the army paying them without putting in the work sometimes. So we do have resources that help the veterans before they get out. That's for sure.
So the shortfall is not necessarily a program to help them. The shortfall is them taking
It's
action.
in the person, yeah.
So how do we encourage our veterans, people that serve the country, to take action because they're in dodging bullets, but now they have to take action to take control of their life and their destiny rather than being told. What would you tell them?
I would tell them, hey, you got to look ahead, not a couple of months before you get out, but a couple of years before you get out. Like for me, I'm 18 years in, right? I'm planning right now how my retirement is going to look like and what I'm going to set myself up for 2 years from now, right? So I'm already planning ahead. A lot of people are planning 6 months out, and that's not enough to plan before you get out, right? Um, so some people make it successful. It just depends on the person if how ambitious and eager they are to set themselves up for success before leaving the military. Because I will say it's a different life out there in the military than how it is in the military because we're guaranteed to pay every 2 weeks, right? So out there you have to put in the work to actually get paid. So um, my thing is not everyone can think like me, but if they can just say, hey, let me set myself for success. Let me start planning now instead of waiting later.
Okay, good. Thanks so much. Now I'm sure that this going to probably reach some viewers that are close to retiring and some people that are currently in the military. Now, say one of them has seen this and they want to join your team. Now, why would it be a good idea to join your team or even to consider the business? What is something that will help them become an entrepreneur?
Well, you can't just bring everyone in, right? I will probably do a like an in-depth interview just to see how you are and what you are as a person. Because honestly, I don't want to chase somebody to see the value in what we do, right? If you come in here just hungry, you want to help people and make money, I will I will dedicate my time to training to get you where you need to be at. Because I'm not successful if I don't help you become successful, right? So I just don't take everyone. But I will say that if you have a military background, obviously you're trained to have discipline, right? You're always get the work done. So I love working with veterans because they get the job done.
Hmm. Good, good, good. That's some good concepts here. How can a military personnel better prepare financially to face life after their service?
Oh, I think it's it just depends on your your relationship with money,
Okay.
right? Um, some people are good with money. Some people are afraid to invest their money. Some people are just good at saving. Like it just depends on the person, right? So I can't speak for everyone, but I will say that, everyone has different situations. They just gotta uh plan ahead financially and find out what's out there that benefits them, right? Because not everyone's financial needs are the same. So I would say learn from somebody else and not just learn what these financial advisors say. Because ultimately, I'm saying that because my financial advisor didn't have the best interest for me, right? She didn't sat me down. She just asked me how much I wanted to contribute to my TSP. So she didn't teach me, sit me down and educate me. Hey, what's the pros and cons of these different funds in the TSP? She didn't do none of that. So I think it's important for every veteran to go out there to learn, find financial literacy on their own, and they can make a decision for themselves and what's best for them. So,
Hmm. Thanks, Damien. I have a question now. So I know your heart is partially for Pacific Islanders. So considering their culture and their views on finances and military life, what advice would you be to them? Because one of my closest friends is from the Pacific Island and he's going to be moving pretty soon to Australia back. We'll move back to Australia. But like what advice would you have for them? Because I know there's a different culture. And I'm from the Caribbean, so we definitely have our culture in terms of finances and everything else. But I don't know exactly all that entails with their culture in terms of, serving the military and finances and stuff.
um, I don't know. I might get backlash from this, but it is what it is, right? But I want to speak from the heart, right? So, I do have a American Samoa, background. Um, we need to learn to forget I respect my culture and the tradition, but we need to start adopting the new ways of doing stuff, right? When it comes to finances, right? Um, and I'll give you an instance, okay? We have this thing called Flablave. It's funerals. In our culture, we come together, bring money, we put together money, and then we donate it to that family so that it will help them, right? My thing is that we're living in an era where there's resources for that, right? And the way I think, I don't want to be responsible for someone else's family. I want to be responsible for mine, right? So let me go out there and help my family protect mine, and let me get the same license that I got and help educate my Polynesian community so that they could help set up their family for success when it comes to protecting their family, so that they never have to go through financial burden when it comes to these funerals, because the funerals is what eats us up. And the way they're thinking is that, and the way our elders think is that, hey, if they leave, they're just gonna pass on this debt to their children, and their children has to take care of that. Like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to set up our next generation so that they could, provide for their family and don't have to, go through the financial burden by taking care of the finances that was left behind from our, our moms or our grandparents and stuff like that, right? So, I think it was just needed. It's just like a phone, right? A phone, you have to it reprograms itself every year. We need to start doing that, right? And I think we need to forget the old ways. Let's learn the new ways so that we can help set up our families for success. And that's for our Polynesian community. And I'm speaking for myself, and maybe a lot of people won't, say the same thing that I'm thinking, but hey, that's fine. But that's my personal opinion. It would eliminate all the financial burdens that everyone's going through right now. And it's just not funerals, Curry. It could be everything else, weddings, you name it, right? Because we're taught not to save. I have never saved when I was growing up. We're always spending money and giving money out, and and stuff like that. So yeah, we need to. I think we were put in this world to protect our family if we decide to get married and have kids and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing. I mean, this thought
yeah.
just came into my head. I mean, I have friends at the Pacific Islanders, and as a nurse, when I was on the West Coast, when I was in Washington State, I definitely saw more people that are in the hospital setting, inpatient, and definitely you see, diabetes, kidney failure. There's a whole range of illness, just like everybody else. But I know, weight management, a lot of different things need to, and I think adopting some new principle, like, listen, your health is your responsibility. You got it. Because I'll just give you one example. This is what popped into my head. Right. So if patient comes in, I'm working orthopedics, they're gonna have uh there's a surgery, which I'm not gonna specify, and we're trying to control their blood sugar. So we're giving them insulin shots, and I'm checking this person's blood sugar, and I'm trying to watch what they eat, and I keep coaching him. I say, no, try to cut back on the carb, eat meat and vegetables. And I was having a tough time controlling this person's blood sugar. And I said, like, what is going on here? And then I came in the room and I saw in his drawer, he had a whole bag of candy he was eating. So it's like, I said, dude, I'm trying to help you with your blood sugar. He said, no, it's just one or two candy I have. I said, well, this is why your blood sugar is not going down. And it's just like, and his family came in like the next day, and they brought in KFC and a 2-liter Coke. And I said, listen, we're trying to help this person manage his blood sugar. You got to do your part too. So I'm just putting this as a side note. I think all of us, I think this is not just for one, this is just one instance, but this is not generally all Pacific Islanders.
Yeah,
In
and
terms of
I think that's everyone, to be honest, Carrie. Like even
everybody,
my
yeah.
policy community, if you look it up, I think it's 83% of Samoans that pass away because of health issues. 83%, right? In the world, American Samoa or Samoa used to be the number one diabetic island or country. Number one. Now we're off. I think now it's America. I don't know, but we used to be on that data, right? But I don't want to be one of those typical Samoans that passed away because of health, right? So look, I'm drinking the juice, right? So I've been juicing. I've been trying to getting healthy because I
Nice.
want to live a longer life. And here's what I tell everyone that I talk to: a lot of my classmates, some of them passed away, and they're not even 50.
Wow.
My mom, I have people that passed away and they're not even 55, right? So they're dying at a really young age. And, and I tell my auntie and uncles and my family members that are over 40, like, hey, do you not love us to get healthy so that you could stay alive longer and spend more time with us? Like, what's the deal? All you gotta do is fix the way you eat, right? Just fix the way you eat. It's just reprogramming on how to become better, right? So it's an addiction, right? Food is an addiction. We need to
Yeah,
overcome it.
family and food. I definitely feel like, they're the culture, like, even the Caribbean, like every event has to have food. A lot of people get together, have family event, and tons of food. But anyway, so we're gonna go back into the interview question. So, what should veterans know about managing their retirement saving? So their thrift saving plan, TSP, want to leave the military. So they're leaving the military. What should they know before leaving the military about the retirement plan?
Well, they need to know what are other programs or resources where they can or other strategies where they can put their money away to protect their monies, right? I know when I first came into the business and I was introduced to Index Universal Life, um, it offered protection on my money. It made sense for me to move my money so that I don't lose any more money, right, from the market. Because here's the thing, we won't be able to use our TSP until we're 59 and a half,
Correct.
right? And and between, if you're going to only do 20 years in the military, obviously you're going to get paid a pension or you get your VA disability, but you won't be able to use that until you're 59 and a half. And now you're going to stop contributing unless you move your TSP to your new employer. But some people can't work. But I think it's ultimately before people get out, they should find out what are other strategies out there where I could put my money where I could pull out without paying taxes to the government or without paying penalties or anything like that, right? So I think it's you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket, right? But also just don't take what people are telling you. Go learn. I have learned so much about finances from other people, from rich people too, right? You can't take advice from someone that's um I don't want to say that's too mean, right? You can't just take advice from someone that's making six figures and has nothing, right? It's just one of those things. You find a millionaire, ask him what he's doing to save for his family, and just learn from him. You know, so I think they should, not just talk to one person, but just learn from other people. To be honest.
Yeah. I just want to use the analogy of cooking. So I love cooking. I had a food truck when I was, when I first moved to the US, I wanted to follow the American dream of starting a business. But the thing is, whether you're cooking or baking, if you have a good recipe and you could cook, if you follow that, you could produce the same results as the person that had the recipe. And I think the same thing with success. If you see people as successful and you talk to them and find out what they're doing, then if you imitate it, then you get very similar results. Now, I know you mentioned your TSP and moving to IUL. I think that's a good move. But what about annuity? Because for my wife, what she ended up doing, because she's been in healthcare for 20 years, but one of the organizations she was with 10 years, so she had a 401k, she rolled it into annuity. So when she rolled it into this particular annuity, she got a 10% bonus. And then after that, that year it functioned pretty well. So she got like 12% growth and something else that she got. But she ended up with 30% growth in that 1 year.
Wow.
But what she'd end up doing was she used her 10%, she could take 10% off each year and put it in the IUL, which is, I think someone called it the arbitrage strategy, where you have two different, you get, because you're shifting money from, because the TSP is going to be taxed, a deferred tax. So it's a deferred tax account. You're putting it in another tax deferred account. So it's a like account, a 1035 exchange. And then you take whatever money you can take and put it into money where you could get tax retirement. So all the growth there is growing. Like what advice would you have for someone like considering those kind of things?
Yeah, I think annuity is a great uh financial strategy. For those that probably retired after 20 years and still have their TSP with the Army, right? I think those are the best times to move your TSP into an annuity where it's protected from the market drops, right? I did mines when I moved mines, because I'm healthy, I moved from my TSP, I pulled that money out. And here's the thing, I knew I lost money. I knew I had to take the L, which is what? I had to pay the 20% tax and the 10% penalty when I pulled out my TSP, and I dumped everything into my IUL, right? 3 years later, I made all that money back that I paid to the government.
Wow.
You know what's crazy? Because now I don't have to pay the government back in the future, and I can
It's
take
already
out
paid
money
taxes already.
before 59 and a half, tax free, penalty free. And here's the thing, what our service members should understand. Social Security is going to run out by 2035. A lot of our veterans are living off disability, pension, and their Social Security. By 2035, it's going to run out. Now what? What's your plan? And here's what I want to say to our veterans is that, hey, listen, protect your family because the government won't be there to pick us up. We have veterans passing away, waiting in line to get service at the VA hospital, right?
That's
So if
tragic.
we don't go out there and take care of ourselves, no one will, not even our government. We're just a number. We are just a number. Unless you're a four-star general somewhere or a sergeant major that served 4 years or 40 years in the military, then you probably have some connection with the government. But everyone else, we don't have that.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I mean, I have friends in the Air Force and the Army, and I know people have their different opinions, but I definitely feel that similar sentiment that
Yeah.
you're just a number. But I don't want to go into that. I want to go into what about veterans? What do you want to know? What would you tell a veteran about managing um their educational opportunities, like to pursue their career advancement? What would you do? Tell them.
Oh man, you know, through education, I think education is a scam. I think going to school is a scam. Although I have a degree, um, but is what you do with it is it's solely up to you. Because I think our school systems teaches us how to become employees, right? But I think as entrepreneurs, we need to teach other entrepreneurs how to be successful, and that entrepreneurship is the way forward, in my opinion.
Hmm. All right. How could veterans optimize their VA benefits for, long-term financial security? Because I mean, all of us want security, and I know veterans, they definitely want, taking care of their family, their home, the transition. What is the best way for them to optimize, considering all you know about the military?
So obviously, we get a lot of benefits when leaving the service, but obviously, those will help us in the long run. But would it help us in the longer run, right? So I think it'll. I think there's three things, or there's a couple things that we should prepare ourselves before getting out, right? Is that we should get life insurance while we're healthy, right? Because
Right.
the first thing that we're going to claim is what? Disability. Once we claim our disability when we get out the service, you're 100% disabled, you're no longer qualified because a lot of us are depending on Social Security when we get out, our pension, our disability, right? But what if Social Security is going to run out in 2035, what's your next plan? Right? What's your next plan? Because now they're gonna think, if you're married and have children, there's a program called a survival pension benefit, which the whoever the surviving spouse will get only 55% of their VA disability. 55% is nothing. That's like $1,328 a month, right? If they have children that's younger than 18 years old, they will get $325 on top of that every month. And to me, that's almost close to almost $1,600, and that's not enough money for to survive on. Because
Hmm.
that's probably enough for groceries for the entire month. But what about rent,
Yeah,
right? What about
inflation,
everything else?
everything
What about
else.
medical? Everything else, cost of living is going up. We got to learn how to make more money.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think as you were mentioning Social Security, I remember this is a really good book. It's called The Paw of Zero by David McKnight. I remember him sharing, which was really shocking for me at the time, that when they started the Social Security program, people were not living as long. So they would have, I think the average was 42 people contributing to Social Security and one person drawing off. But now the ratios have changed where you have uh 3 to 1 now. So for people, 3 people contributing one, so that means there's a lot more people drawing off of Social Security
Yeah.
disability, that not working there in whatever challenges. So we have a lot of people that are just drawing from Social Security and
Yeah.
Medicare, Medicaid, and I right now I'm in Cooperstown in upstate New York, and we're in a hospital. This hospital is a rural hospital, and a lot of the patients are on Medicare and Medicaid. And the hospital itself is struggling because, a lot of people don't have insurance, and you see bad debt stuff. Sometimes you see that in the little chart, you see that. So
Yeah.
it's like there's a high number of people like that. So like, how are we gonna keep this hospital going? But anyway, so I digress there slightly. I want to go back into this our question. This will probably be our last question. I was looking at the time. How could veterans network if efficiently and effectively to build a professional relationship to access opportunities. So say you have veterans friends that somebody's looking here is like, how could they network to get that sort of professional relationships?
I think when you progress, it's hard to network in the service because it goes based off rank. Because if you're maybe a E5 or sergeant and below, like you don't know anybody, you know. But if you build a good relationship with your mentors that are E6 and above, you can probably network with them when they get out. They probably can help you set you up with a job at whatever they're working at, right? So I think with the veteran community, there's it's so tight. Our network is huge, right? So we're us veterans are taken care of once we get out. There's plenty of resources for us. I'm not even worried about getting out because the veteran community take care of us, whether it's the VA or resources or job opportunities. There's always going to be someone out there that's helping other veterans get a job and prepare for to network with other people so that they could find a high paying job or whatever the case may be. Because it's who you know in this world, right? It's not um, how you get there. So the network community is huge. I think it'll be easier for everyone, especially for us. Like, so I'll give you an example. If I join the financial industry and we have the product that could help people, I'll be one of the networks for veterans for our business, right? So I can go out there and help them and educate about our company and start networking like that, you know. So, but the veterans community is so tight that everyone's looking for other veterans to help them work with them, you know. So, I don't think it'll be a problem networking, to be honest.
Awesome. Damien, you have any closing thoughts? I appreciate so much what you shared, but any closing thoughts
No,
or
brother, I
anything?
appreciate you, taking the time to ask these questions because, these are some questions that people don't ask. And, I feel like, a lot of people are just either closed-minded or just they don't want to ask these tough questions that help them prepare when they get out the service, and help prepare them that the other side is not great, you know? Um, it's just networking. If they ever need help, they can reach out to other veterans. And here's what I will tell them: trust the veterans that's been through it. You know, so if they offer the help, reach out to them. Get the business opportunity and help them educate you about what our business does. If it doesn't fit you, then you don't have to do it. But at least it was presented to you, right? But take every opportunity if it's presented to you. Don't just think everything is a scam, right? Just if you think it's a scam, go in there, educate yourself, and find out if it really is. If it isn't, and you like it, do it. That's why a lot of opportunities miss because you just don't take it because you think everything's a scam. Because I also thought the same thing, and now I'm 200% a crusader of our business.
Nice.
200%. There's no way you can talk me out of it. So.
All right, Damien, I am so very grateful that you came on. Thanks so much. If you want to contact Damien, learn more about your business, join his team, I'm going to leave his Calendly link in the description and in the comment section below. So please click on that and try to meet with him. He's an amazing guy, and he's such a good mentor as well too. He's very caring, and he really all the members in his team, people really really love him because he's just really for them. So thanks so much, and you guys have a fantastic day. Goodbye.